So welcome to the channel, it's your boy EO here. So guys, have you ever been to a country and you return back to your home country, whether that be the UK or the US, and you realize that nothing has felt right ever since? You haven't been the same. Well, that has happened to me a couple of times, and most recently it's happened to me when I was in Nairobi, Kenya. So I know you guys have been to other countries, whether that be Kenya or Africa or go anywhere in Africa, and you go to the UK and you go to the US, you come back to your home country and mentally you're effed up, you can't think right, you can't think straight. It's like you're in the UK or the US, but your mind is somewhere else, You're not really comprehending the idea that you're in the UK or the US. That's how I felt when I left Kenya. And it took me some time to get used to it, I'll be honest with you. And it's something that I'm still struggling with now. When I left Kenya, it broke me in that kind of way. It makes you stressed to think, okay, cool, maybe I'm the problem. But to be fair, you're not the problem. You're not the problem. It's probably the environment that you're in, the toxic environment in the UK, in the US. It's what is poisoning your brains, to think a certain way. And it's not your fault. I blame the UK, I blame the US, I blame the food that they're putting into people's systems. I mean, I know the UK is not as bad as the US. The US, they poison people with their food. They put stuff into their takeouts. I don't know. Sometimes you see people, they go to the US and they go there for a month. They come back to whatever place they're coming from. They come back, they go to the US, they come back, and they put on like £10, £20 in like a space of a month. When you go to Kenya, you're not even gonna see, I don't think you're gonna see any obese woman. They're pretty much, most women are in shape, so yeah, I don't know. So when I went to Nairobi and I left Nairobi to go to the UK, I felt like I was failing myself as a person, because I felt like I wasn't able to live in Kenya full time, live in Africa full time. I felt like I wasn't able to do that. And also because of my financial situation, I wasn't making enough money to replace my income. At that time I was working a job, I was a student, so I wasn't earning enough money to replace my full-time income. That made me feel like I wasn't really able to accomplish anything, and that I couldn't leave the UK. I was gonna get, the way I was thinking, right, was that I wasn't making enough money and that I was gonna be stuck in the UK for good, and that wasn't really a nice mindset to have. It was kind of, these type of mindset is what brings people down and stops them from succeeding. So if you want to make that move, you need to have that positive mindset that you would eventually, make it, whether you go to Africa or go to Kenya, however you're feeling, basically. And just in case if you didn't know, you have to be making, a good amount of money to live actually a good lifestyle, like a lifestyle, basically like to live like a millionaire, you need to make money, good money. And that's the idea that I had in my head. I don't want to move to a country, move to Kenya, move to Africa and not make enough money, no. I want to make a good amount of money, whether that be in the UK or, whichever country that I go to. I want to make a good amount of money, yeah, so I don't have to worry about, you know, the life that I was living in the UK, you know. I don't want to go back to the way that I was living in the UK, you know. So that's the idea that I had, you know. That's the reason why I felt a bit down, you know, because I wasn't making that kind of money in the UK. So leaving not only made me emotional, but there were some positive, you know, impacts that it had on my life. Like, it made me realize how broken the UK is, you know, the system, you know, and of course, you know, it made me thankful that I knew that at an early age, you know, at the age of 21, I had that thought in my head that Africa, Kenya is the next big thing, you know. You know, most people my age, at the age of 21, they had that mindset that, you know, oh, I want to go party. You know, I have no goals. You know, I have no goals, no ambition. So also, I felt like leaving Kenya to go to the UK, you know, it took me about 2 months to realize this, but I eventually understood and I acknowledged that I was completely done with the UK, and it made me realize that, oh my days, ever since I left Kenya, all I can think about was Africa, Kenya, Africa, Kenya. So that's why I decided to create this YouTube channel to talk about Africa, to talk about Kenya and my journey, you know, my journey of how things are, you know, what are my plans, you know. So that's why I do this, you know, to inspire you guys to make the move to the African continent, to Kenya, to live your best life. So yeah, all I would think about is Africa, Kenya, Africa, Kenya. And I felt like this made me so disconnected from the UK. Like, I did not want to talk to anybody in the UK, even the news. Like, the news just, I was never interested in the news before. And me coming to the UK, it just made me like proper, like, I don't care about the news. Like, the news is trash, is irrelevant, you know? Like, even the woman, like, the woman before, before I went to Kenya, right? I was like, wow, you know, UK woman, yeah, I mean, you know, but then now I'm back in UK, you know, I don't even feel attracted to UK women anymore. Like, I see them as basically average now, just because of the mindset and the culture in the UK. I feel like it's affected the way women think in the UK, in the US. So now I don't even pay attention. If a girl comes up to me in the UK, I'm just like, you know what, yeah, I'm over it. But then when I'm in Kenya, right, you could be walking around the streets of Nairobi and you'll just be seeing tens, you know, nines. So now I come to the UK, yeah, I don't see women the same. Like, I'm over it, you know, I can't be asked. So now I'm thinking, how the hell can I get out of the UK? Like, I'm done with this area. Like, this area I'm in right now is like I'm in a village, you know. It's like I'm the only one outside. You know, everybody is in their homes, you know, doing their own thing. No one really wants to go out. Whereas in Kenya, you know, I felt happy. I felt because everyone was alive, you know. The city was bustling. Yeah, London is a busy city, but it's a busy city full of people that are just grumpy and angry at life. Let's be honest. So what city would I rather be at? A city that is grumpy and angry all the time, or a city that is bustling like Nairobi, Kenya? A city that everyone is happy, enjoying life, you know, happy to mingle, happy to interact with people. You know, of course I'm gonna choose Nairobi. It's even got to a point where, okay, cool, I'm leaving Kenya, I'm taking a connecting flight to go to Istanbul. I get to Istanbul and I'm thinking, I'm gonna go back to the UK now. And it's got me calculating, okay, cool, how much can I save in a year to leave the UK? And what processes do I need to leave the UK? So what has this taught me? It's taught me that anyone in the US, the UK, and they want to leave their country for good, but they don't have the financial, stability, they don't, they basically don't have enough income coming in. Your time would come, patience is key. Everyone gets where they want to be, and it's only a matter of time. If it's not happened to you, if you've not left the UK or the US, maybe it's not your time. Your time would come. And the only thing that is stopping you is your beliefs, If you always have negative thoughts that, you're never going to leave the UK, that's how I was feeling. And if you start to have positive thoughts about your situation, you would eventually make what you're hoping for or what you want to achieve, it will become a reality. And you're going to thank yourself for having those positive thoughts. So this is the end of the video. If you feel like you need more inspiration to move to the African continent, to move to Kenya, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment down below what you think. Are you looking to move to Kenya? Are you looking to move to Africa? Let me know. And yeah, peace.